What does living in the end mean? Living in the end means that you've used your imagination and you went first person in an I am statement to where you want to land up. So either in the physical realm or an emotional realm, or mainly on the inside of you, where you want to head. So instead of thinking how am I going to get there, and how's it all going to work, and which brings up a lot of limitations, what you do is you take your imaginative self, which is your sixth sense, and you don't use your 5th sensory data. You use the data from your imagination to imagine living in the end, your end result. So if you want a new car, you basically, even though everything in your 5th sensory world is showing you your beat up car and your poverty and everything, what you do is you start to actualize and visualize. Just like when I paint or I do art or I tell stories, I live in the end. I visualize the whole story. For instance, right now I'm working on a video course that's teaching basically how to do visual storytelling through comics in this age, using, traditional art and digital art. And I visualize the whole course all the way to the last course, and basically all the sequences that basically go into making that reality of this beautiful presentation I want. And you can do it with anything in your life, from material things to attracting people and making it your life and a wonderful adventure. Because at the heart of this life is a mystery, and a lot of us get plagued by the mystery, and so we need something to hang on to, because our imagination wants to wander into the beyond. And if you wander that far, it gets kind of complex, because we have a lot of morality thoughts, and that's where stories come from. So living in the end is basically using your imagination to manifest your ultimate reality in the way you want to feel, the way you want to live, the way you want to experience this life. So living in the end is actually going past, like, say you want more financial stability or more financial money, or you want to build an incredible creative studio that makes fantastical and inspirational entertainment and edutainment. And so basically living in the end, even though you may be miles away in a house or a rented apartment, living in the end is assuming that you are already in that incredible high-tech creative studio and working every day to do your magic. And living in the end is a concept by a cat named Neville Goddard, who basically lived during the 50s. And basically he was a Broadway actor at a time the Depression happened in the middle of winter, and he lost his job. And he was originally from Barbados, and he basically wanted to go, he needed to go to Barbados because in Barbados one of his family members was real ill and about to pass on. And so he was basically totally broke in Brooklyn, New York, and he needed to go to Barbados. And so he met his mentor, whose name was Abdul, and Abdul basically taught him the spiritual science of living in the end. And so basically, long story short, Abdul kept telling Neville Goddard that you are in Barbados, so assume that you are in your wish fulfilled, which he wanted to go basically to Barbados to be with his relative. And so he eventually learned how to live in the end, and all the circumstances in the path, which he calls the bridge of incidents, all these incidents started happening that actually ultimately led him to Barbados. So living in the end is also a technique. A lot of very successful entrepreneurs and business people have visualized their whole where they're headed. So instead of making a practical goal that you come up with from your five senses, you use your imagination and you do an I am visualization that takes you all the way past the goal. So like, say you wanted to have an incredible studio that you were working in every day that made storybooks and animations and films to inspire a lot of young creative people in this world. You assume that you're already there, and so no matter where you are, you feel the vibration of being already in that incredible studio. And so the best way to live in the end is visualize a party or a celebration or an email or a cell phone text that you're getting that basically, you see yourself in first person, not third person. You see yourself actually holding that cell phone and reading a success text that says, it is so incredible that we have this studio and our first film, basically went platinum. 1 million people have basically seen the film. So then all of your thoughts now are aligned with that. So you don't worry and doubt and come up with all these excuses and you basically gain the courage to do whatever it takes to get to that end result. Where a lot of times we think of and we live in the middle and then we get stuck.